What do your in-laws think of Tom when they watch this guy who was in London in what? Oh, were you 05, 06 or something?
No, earlier. So I lived here in 2002, 2003.
Okay. So they saw this guy pre-Quest, pre-mastering his body, pre-fixed mindset. Well, I want to talk about that later. And now you come back and you're just this weird prodigal son. Who knows what they make of you now? But I mean, what do they say? I'm sure that Lisa's mother has pulled you aside and said, Tom, we weren't sure about you, or we always loved you, or, you know what I mean? What do they say? Because if anyone doesn't see, Tom posts pictures sometimes of you as old, like out of shape Tom, or Tom at Quest Nutrition starting off. And like I said, your eyes look different. It's almost like they're the fixed mindset eyes. So anyways, tell me if I'm crazy, and what do the in-laws say about
you? So, well, first I'll tell you what my own mother says about me. Okay. So she said, because when I left home, she kicked me out. So I panicked and didn't want to leave for college. None of my friends were leaving the state. I was one of only 2 people in my graduating class to leave the state. And so I was like, Mom, maybe I should just stay and go to the school everyone else is going to. She was like, absolutely not. You're going to go. You're going to chase your dream. And then, I'm not joking, has spent every day since trying to get me to move back home.
Of course.
So one day after getting successful, I said, this is hilarious. Like, why'd you kick me out? I wouldn't have left if you hadn't kicked me out. And she said, oh, I just always assumed you were going to fail. And I was like, whoa, you were my biggest cheerleader. And she was like, of course, like I wanted you to win, but you were so lazy. She was like, I just didn't expect you to succeed. And then my best friend growing up recently told me, oh yeah, I just always assumed you were going to marshmallow your way through life. And then when I went to propose, I had to go ask my father-in-law for his blessing first, and he said no. So he was like, how are you going to take care of my daughter? And I said, sir, look, I know what you see is an undereducated kid who's broke. At the time, I didn't even have a job. And you're worried, I get that. But I'm telling you, I'm the most ambitious person you've ever met. And one day I'm going to make your daughter rich. And that's like hanging in the air, right?
Okay. And were you the most ambitious time, or did you believe it?
Yeah, no.
So
I really,
were ambitious.
Dude, my ambition is crazy. And it's the one thing that I don't like because I don't feel like I earned it. I've always been ambitious.
Okay, you just didn't know what to do with it or where to go or...
100%. And more terrifyingly, I really was lazy and still am lazy, quite frankly.
Okay.
So
you can be ambitious and lazy at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's what I want people to understand. There is a difference between ambition, which I have always had, and drive, which is actually going to help you make good on your ambition. So most people are what I call an empty dreamer. They have a big dream, they never do anything about it, they're 20 years later and they're talking, they're still gonna do it. When are you gonna do it? I'm working on it. They don't ever actually buckle down and hold themselves accountable. So in saying that to my father-in-law and telling my then girlfriend, now wife, that I'm gonna make you rich one day, it began to be this like shame on me. And I used to refer to my wife as a witness to my crimes. And suddenly not getting up and not going to work, so I would lay in bed 4 or 5 hours a day. This is my mid-20s. So 4 or 5 hours a day, I'm laying in bed all day, every day, not getting out of bed.
Depressed?
No, I always say I was sliding towards depression, but I wasn't depressed. I was lazy.
Okay.
And lazy and fearful that I wasn't good enough. So my whole thing is, have you seen Amadeus, the movie?
Yeah, I actually don't remember watching it. I know of it.
Watch it. It's so
Spielberg, right? The slave.
No.
Oh, no.
It's Amadeus, you're thinking of Armistead.
Yeah, you're right. Amadeus is, it's about, what's his name?
Mozart.
Yeah, Mozart.
So in it, there's a character called Salieri, who's like his rival. And Salieri has this one moment where he's having a soliloquy and he's basically talking to God. And he said, why did you make me just good enough to realize how much better Mozart is? And that was exactly how I felt. I felt like I was smart enough to understand that other people were smarter and that they would go on to be successful and that I never would. And so between that and being lazy, I was crippled by fear and then didn't want to do anything about it anyway, so I would just lay in bed. But now I have this girlfriend who I've made promises to in my sort of aspirational moments that I'm going to make you rich. I've prophesized to my father-in-law, who still did not want me to marry his daughter. I left his house saying, I understand you don't want me to marry your daughter, but I am going to propose, full disclosure. And I did propose, and it ends up becoming this super awkward thing.
Yeah.
Now, my father-in-law has always been kind to me. He just didn't want us to get married. Right. So anyway, flash forward, and I finally realized, there's a difference between dreaming about building a company and getting rich and all that, and actually having the skill set to do it. And through this whole time, I'm reading about the brain, and that becomes my big breakthrough, is realizing, oh, this thing called brain plasticity is real. You can learn new things. And once I had that piece of information, then it was like, dude, it's just on you. The whole Solieri speech, let go of it. You might be too dumb right now, but you can learn. And so, are you? Like, one of my favorite questions is from Seth Godin. He says, when people come and say to me, oh, I'm a terrible writer, I say, show me all your bad writing. And he was like, they can never produce any, because they're so crippled by the fact that they're not yet good, that they don't do the things they would need to do to get good. And so my life became about getting good.